So if you're looking for a hack to stay more productive and accomplish more, this is going to be for you.
3 tips that help me boost productivity and minimize distractions.
I shoot 252 episodes of television a year. It's 4% of my time.
I have calls, I have meetings, and then here's another block of time that I can be working.
Well, how do I know that? So specifically because I track it, and then it goes into these dashboards, and then I see where I'm spending all my time.
So, consider this the last day of your lazy lifestyle and the first of your success story.
I would describe it as just constantly feeling like you need to be working and doing something at all times.
And I probably wasn't doing things that were good for my body.
You're sort of wasting your life.
But my excuse was, at least I got something done.
Toxic productivity, I would describe it as trying to continue to outdo your colleagues in a way where it becomes too competitive and it leads to burnout and unrealistic expectations from the employer or the person asking you what work they need to be done.
When I was a student at Da Vinci, I learned about this word called grit. It was the theme of our junior year. All of our teachers talked about the importance of having grit, and in the definition I understood grit to be, grit was the constant persistence and perseverance of completing hard work by putting in hard work. My understanding of grit when I was in high school was as long as I put in that much effort, I will get the results that I want.
About a couple months ago, I got really obsessed with studying for the SAT. I was studying for just hours and hours on end. I could not stop. During spring break, I was coming back from my flight from Mexico, and on the plane I was doing an SAT practice test.
Sometimes I feel guilty that maybe it doesn't feel like I'm getting enough work done because I have some spare time, and instead of rewarding myself and just enjoying that spare time that I have, I feel guilty and end up wanting to do more.
It became very hard for me to allow myself to relax and allow myself to take a break, because taking a break and relaxing would mean I'm not productive, which means that I'm not being greedy, which means that I'm not going to reach my goal.
It's frowned upon if you take sick leave. It's frowned upon if you even take annual leave. I feel like I never used to feel like I had to kind of hesitate, not at this job, but in previous jobs, hesitate about asking for leave or even hesitate about calling in sick when I'm genuinely have a fever and feel guilty about that.
I just got so burnt out that on the actual day of the SAT, I just was so stressed, and I feel like I could have done better if I just studied less and I relaxed more.
Kind of our rapport with patients, sometimes we go over the top where we don't set boundaries and then we end up getting exhausted emotionally, physically, if we're not being able to balance our work with that care that we're providing.
I had taken grit to a whole nother level of toxicity. And essentially what it kind of taught me as I kept growing older and I kept going to college was that no matter how much work I put in, it's never going to be enough.
If an employer just creates that culture and expectation from the beginning and say, I want you out of here by 5. That's all you're getting paid for, leave. Or I just need you to get this done and not go over and beyond and try to do extra things and exceed those expectations to the point of burnout. So I really do think it puts a lot of pressure on the employer or the boss or supervisor to kind of establish that culture from the beginning to make that change.
I would say just not being afraid to just give myself a break.
Your work is like mitosis. There are 2 stages of mitosis. You have interphase and you have actual mitosis. And in interphase, that's your cell's chance to rest. And while the cell is in interphase, or while the cell is resting, it is resting to prepare to do something really big and possibly traumatic to the cell, which is to divide and create more cells, right? So it's resting to work, and it's resting to create more products, more cells. And it was like 4 years ago when I started to see the connection between why cells need to rest before they do work, and it made me see why rest is a part of work.
If I just convince myself, okay, I'm not in the right mindset, I can't produce the best work that I could produce right now, so I'm just going to step away from it and take a break. So I try to allow myself to do those kinds of things.
At a cellular level, there is no such thing as always working. There always has to be a resting period. And if it's part of our biology, which means it should be part of our lifestyle.